Attorney General Pam Bondi is the first female to be Attorney General in the state of Florida. That is so huge. Think about that. She broke that glass ceiling, and she is leading the way for other women and inspiring other women to get more involved. She inspires me, and I am so lucky to call her my friend. If you can please welcome Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Please sit down and please eat. Please enjoy your dinner. All right, now you get to hear my version of how our friendship was formed. So I love getting to say this. I adore President Herodopoulos and President Herodopoulos. Never thought that would happen, Mike, did you? Isn't that great? Two presidents in a family. So can you hear me okay? I'm a little taller than Steph, as you can tell. So I dropped my cards, hold on. I didn't need them anyway, because my story. So I am newly elected to office, and by the way, it's been almost 4 years and it feels like 40. And so I remember meeting, of course, the president on the campaign trail and his gorgeous wife, and I'm going, there is no way, this woman is a physician. I mean, she looks like a supermodel, and she's absolutely brilliant, and she's even more beautiful inside than out. And that's what makes Stephanie Herodopoulos so special. And thank you for everything you do. And I can tell you firsthand, this amazing woman will bring her passion for helping people right here in Brevard. She brought it all the way to the state capitol, and now, thanks to her great work, these are. I remember her standing there when we were making these billboards. Stephanie came up with all of these, and now she's taken her efforts statewide. And so, as medical professionals, I know you can appreciate the horrible drug abuse problem in our state, and it's ongoing. But what happened was, when I first got elected, I learned that 7 Floridians were dying a day from prescription overdose. And we have so many great doctors, and I know we have so many great pain management doctors here in this room. I am engaged to a great doctor. He's an ophthalmologist and an internist. He's a cataract surgeon. And but you know, there are bad ones as well, and just like in any profession. And so, of the top 100 oxycodone dispensers, these are docs, in the entire country, 98 of them lived in Florida. That's outrageous. So we knew we had to do something. So President Herodopoulos stepped up to the plate like you would not believe. And my secret weapon too was his little fireball wife, Dr. Stephanie Herodopoulos, who spent many, many evenings in my office late at night when Mike was down there fighting for us. And you know, nothing's easy. And it had taken 6 or 7 years to pass this legislation, and it was everybody working as a team. And that's how we did it. So we passed this legislation, and you know, you always wonder if it's gonna make a difference, if it can work, and you know that as medical professionals. And so the governor and I, we formed a strike force together, and it was really everyone working together, going out, putting these guys out of business, because you all know what a pill mill was. We had virtually little to no medical equipment. These guys had armed guards at the door. The prosecutor in me, I was a prosecutor for 18 years, had never run for office, lost my mind and ran for attorney general. So the prosecutor in me still wanted to go out after we made these illegal and actually bust the pill mills. I mean, we would go in, they would have armed guards at the door, cash only business, because $200 to $300. They were never seeing a doctor. They were sitting in the back just signing prescription pads for unlimited amounts of oxycodone, and this was legal in the state of Florida. Outrageous, and it had to stop. I had to go to Kentucky, and I hugged a mother who lost her child because of prescription drugs bought in Florida. I'm from Tampa, in Florida, and we know that. because the dealer still had the plane tickets to Fort Lauderdale in his pocket when they arrested him. So it was a tremendous problem that was not only affecting our state, but many others, because the dealers were all flying down here. So we worked so hard to pass this legislation, and it goes into effect, and thanks to the strike force, we started shutting them down and putting them out of business. And so of those top 98 docs that live in Florida, I keep saying Tampa, in Florida, you know how many are left? Zero. And we really didn't think, it hasn't been in effect that long, and you really don't know how much of a decrease you're going to see right away. And frankly, I did not think it would be such a decrease, but FDLE stats just came out, and the deaths have dropped by 52% already, which is huge. And we know we have a long way to go, but that's huge. Huge. So then this is really how it happened. I went back and I sat down at my desk, and I thought, wow, this stuff is really working. And my phone rings, and I'm from Tampa, and it's St. Joseph's Hospital, and a neonatologist, Dr. Solomon, and they said, Pam, there's another problem, the babies. And I said, the babies? I had no idea. And they said, babies are being born exposed to prescription drugs. So I immediately came down to Tampa. I went to St. Joseph's in their NICU, and I saw these babies. Of course, I'm preaching to the choir here. You all know their incubators have to be covered in blankets. They're sensitive to light, to sound, to touch. Instead of milk, they're coming into this world getting morphine and methadone. And instead of crying, they shriek. And it had to stop. From a cost perspective, St. Joe's had to expand their NICU. And this is very conservative. At least 20% of the babies going through there are because of prescription drugs. All Children's Hospital in St. Pete, 30%. And these are very conservative numbers. I moderated a bipartisan congressional panel with Hal Rogers, a national panel, and on that I met people from all over the country. And this was a problem throughout our country. And a nurse from East Tennessee Hospital in Knoxville told me they did a snapshot on one day of the babies in their NICU. 60% of those babies were there because they were born exposed to prescription drugs. So this is a national problem. I'm not a huge fan of task forces. I think you can study something to death. I think you can create a great product and make it look good and politicize it and put it on your shelf and be done with it. But we knew we had to do something. So as Dr. Herodopoulos told you, we started a task force, a legislative task force. I chaired it. There were 13 other members, plus I asked to save one appointee that I could appoint. And who do you think I had in my head the entire time? My dear friend and a true advocate, Stephanie Herodopoulos. So she was my appointee to that committee, and that was one of the best things I've done, because every poster you're seeing, I remember Stephanie standing up doing this with her hand. I mean, she had this vision of what we were going to do to combat this and to carry it out. And so we had 3 years to complete our task. We did it in 6 months, because we actually wanted to go out there and start implementing it the next 2 years instead of just creating this great product, which we did create. We worked very hard, and we brought everybody to the table, because people say, oh, you want to take, initially, what do they say? You want to take these babies away from these mothers? No, we want to keep them together. That's what this is all about. So we brought the naysayers to the table. We brought everybody, and we worked so hard on this project, and I don't think anyone worked harder than Dr. Herodopoulos. And so we came up with a great product. You can go on myfloridalegal.com, and you can actually print our and it is a beautiful product, but we're implementing it, and that's what you're seeing. And so you can go, and I'm actually, next week I'll be in DC at the National Attorneys General meeting, and I am co-chair of the Substance Abuse Committee with Jack Conway. It's a great bipartisan committee, and I'm co-chair of the National Substance Abuse Committee. And so you know what I tell all the other AGs? I said, I have no pride of authorship. You print that, you rip my name off the cover, you put yours on and sell it in your states, because this is happening all over the country, and that's what we're all about, working together. And that's how you can accomplish so much. So I just learned, and thanks to our legislature, we put a state rep, we put Dana Young, and we put Joe Negron Senator Negron on our committee, and we got $8.9 million to fund treatment beds. And I just learned last week, we now have 508 women in treatment beds, saving their lives and the lives of their babies, thanks to that task force. So it's working. And we're thrilled. So a baby's life shouldn't begin with detox. That Dr. Herodopoulos created that, and we're just thrilled with where we're going with that and where we're continuing to go. If I could just say one more thing, a public service announcement, synthetic drugs. That's something we are facing, and as physicians, I usually bring the packets with me. I don't have them with me, and I had DEA clean them out for me, by the way. I learned the hard way. Every session we've been outlining them, and I don't know if you've heard of them. You can go on myfloridalegal.com. I have pictures of all of them up. But now they look like, and this is going to be tough. Senate President Herodopoulos, they've changed so much from when you first started outlining them with me. Now, they used to be scantily clad women. They used to be K2, Vanilla Sky, Purple Haze, and it's synthetic heroin, acid, LSD. We sent 2 FDLE agents in the Tallahassee Mall, and they bought this stuff legally. So here's the good news is, first we outlawed, I think, 22 compounds and 44, then 100 and something. In this session, we only had 2. And now we're doing 2 more because they're in Georgia. I called my counterpart in Georgia and I said, Sam, get ready. I said, this stuff's coming to Georgia. Told him this a few years ago, and now he's calling me saying, Pam, what are those compounds again? So we're running them out of Florida. But please, they're illegal now. But now, here's what burns me up. They're being marketed as Scooby-Doo. They're in little packages. They're little metal packages. They're being marketed as cotton candy. If you look at it, you open it, you smell it, it looks like cotton candy, it feels like cotton candy. I spoke to a huge group of women at Moffitt Cancer Center thanking them for their work, and I had the packets with me. The woman sitting next to me when I sat down, this Scooby-Doo snacks, she said her child came home with that in his backpack last week. So they are still targeting kids, but now they're targeting kids 12 to 14 years old. And what he came home with in his backpack was synthetic heroin. But we are fighting the fight. We're putting them out of business. But please, please, to all the physicians and parents, and you have large business practices, please go online and see what these look like and send them out to your colleagues and friends, because it's about educating people. But I can tell you, I personally know what it means to work with Dr. Herodopoulos and her drive and her energy, and she is going to bring that same drive to the Brevard County Medical Society as your new president. And I cannot be more thrilled I would not be anywhere else in the world tonight other than here to support her and her great family and her wonderful parents and in-laws who I adore. And thank you for having me, and you are so blessed to have the Herodopoulos family in your community. And as the former president of the Senate, and now President Herodopoulos of the Medical Society. So thank you so much. Thank you.